In the cold darkness of space, she flew alone. Zyril, commander of the elite Skari army, was known as one of the most powerful warriors in the galaxy. Her skin shone like silver, her eyes glowed blue, and her body was built for war. She had fought many battles and defeated creatures bigger than spaceships. She feared no one except now. She was falling. Her ship had been hit during a chase with rebel drones. She lost control near a small blue planet. Earth. Her computer screamed warnings. Emergency landing. Earth atmosphere breach in 3, 2, 1. A flash of fire tore through the sky as her ship crashed deep into a forest. Trees burned, metal cracked, and everything went dark. Zyril woke up with pain in her side. Her armor was damaged. One of her arms was bleeding. But her mind was clear. She looked around. Strange green plants. Tall trees. The air was thick. Birds made odd sounds. She was alive. But stuck. She activated her stealth cloak, making her invisible, and left the broken ship. She had to wait for her people to find her. Until then, she would hide and observe. She climbed a hill, crouched between rocks, and opened her visor screen. A town appeared in the distance. She zoomed in and saw humans, ugly creatures, she said to herself. They walked on 2 legs, had strange soft faces, and made odd sounds when they talked. Their bodies looked weak, with no armor or claws. Their skin was pale and exposed. Even the young ones looked tired and slow. Zyril shook her head. These are the creatures my galaxy fears. Pathetic. She watched as a group of them argued near a truck. One kicked it when it didn't start. Another laughed loudly, holding a bottle. They had no discipline, no unity. Just noise. They are like insects, she whispered. Loud, lazy, and weak. She turned off the screen. She didn't want to watch more. She would wait here until rescue, but then she heard a sound. Chop, chop. It was close. Too close. She turned quickly and looked down the hill. Someone was there. A human, alone. He stood near a small cabin. No armor, no shirt. Only pants and boots. He was chopping wood with an axe. His skin was tanned. Muscles moved under his skin as he lifted the axe again and again. Sweat rolled down his arms and chest. His hair was messy, and his face had a short beard. He looked rough, wild, and something else. Zyril blinked. Why was she still watching? He moved with power, but also with calm. No fear, no noise. Just focus. The axe hit the wood again. Perfect strike. Chop! Zyril felt something strange in her chest. A small beat, then another. Her face felt warm. She shook her head. This is strange, she whispered. He paused for a second, looked around, as if he felt her eyes. For a moment, she thought he saw her, but he didn't. He just smiled to himself and picked up more wood. Zyril stood there, hidden, confused. This human is different. She watched him pick up a small creature, a dog. He petted it softly. The dog licked his hand, wagging its tail. He laughed. A soft, deep sound. Zyril felt that beat in her chest again. Why? She scanned him with her wrist device. Name: unknown. Species: human. Status: healthy. Threat level: low. Then the scanner glitched. Genetic anomaly detected. Her eyes widened. What? She scanned again. Same result. Impossible. His DNA, it's changing, adapting. She stepped back. A dry leaf cracked under her foot. The human looked up. Straight toward her. He saw nothing, thanks to her cloak. But his eyes narrowed. He tilted his head, listening. Zyril held her breath. Then he spoke. I know someone's there, he said calmly. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. She froze. How could he sense her? He turned and walked toward his cabin. Zyril stayed hidden. Her heart was still beating fast. Why? Why was she feeling this way? He was just a human. Just an ugly creature of Earth. And yet, she couldn't stop looking. The next morning, the forest was quiet again, but inside Zyral's mind, nothing was quiet. She had seen something impossible, a human who was not weak, not stupid, not afraid. He was alone, calm, and powerful in a quiet way. Something about him had shaken her. Something deep. She had fought in space battles, faced monsters with fire in their mouths, but now her heart was beating because of a man chopping wood. "This is not normal," she whispered, walking slowly through the trees. "He must be hiding something." She needed answers. Zyral moved closer to the cabin. Her stealth cloak still covered her. She stepped carefully, no sound, no tracks. She had one goal: scan the human again. But as she reached the edge of the Faiwadi trees, she stopped. He was outside again, but not chopping wood this time. He was sitting on the ground, holding the small dog in his lap. The dog looked hurt. A small cut on its paw. The man was wrapping it with cloth. Gently, he whispered something to the dog. Then he did something unexpected. He looked up directly toward Zyral's hidden spot and said, "If you're still watching me, you could help, you know." Zyral froze. How? How could he know? She didn't move. He smiled, still not looking afraid. "Still shy, huh? That's okay. Forest spirits are always welcome." Zyral frowned. Forest spirit? Was that what he thought she was? The man stood up, lifting the dog. "I'll leave food outside," he said, speaking to the empty woods. "If you're hungry." Then he went inside. Zyral waited a full hour before she dared to move again, and when she did, she saw something strange. A wooden plate placed on a rock, with food, bread, fruit, water. Simple, warm kind. Zyral stared at it. No trap, no poison, just a gift. Her mind raced. Why would a human help someone he can't see? Her mission orders said, "Avoid humans. Observe from distance. Do not interact." But now, she was curious, too curious. That night, she waited until the cabin lights were off. She turned off her cloak and approached the cabin silently. "Just look," she told herself. "Just get more data. Then leave." She stepped on the wooden porch. Before she could knock, the door creaked open. He was standing there, the human, closer than ever, eyes green like old trees, skin tanned from sun, muscles hard but calm. His body looked simple, yet full of strength. His voice was soft. "I knew you'd come." Zyral's hand reached for her weapon. She could end this now, but he didn't reach for a weapon. He just stepped aside. "Come in if you want." She looked at him carefully. No fear in his eyes, only trust. So she did something she had never done before with any alien or human. She stepped inside. The cabin was small. Warm light, books, firewood. No machines, no cameras. "Name's Jace," he said. "You don't have to tell me yours." She didn't. He poured tea into a cup. Steam rose. "You're not from here," he said. Zyral stared. "You don't sound surprised. I've seen lights in the sky, heard strange sounds, and last night, I felt something watching me. Something different." Zyral said nothing. "I'm not afraid," he added. "You don't feel dangerous." She looked down. Her armor was glowing faintly. "You should be afraid," she said quietly. He smiled. "But I'm not." Silence. She looked at his hands. Rough but steady. "Why did you leave food outside?" "You looked hungry." "I could have been a killer. Then I would have died kindly." Zyral didn't know how to reply. No one ever spoke to her like this, not even her own people. Suddenly, her wrist device blinked. A signal. Unknown. Genetic energy detected. Source: human subject, Jace again. She looked up at him. There was something wrong, or maybe special about this man. His DNA was not normal. Something inside him was changing, or awakening. Jace stood. Picked up an old photo from the shelf. Showed it to her. "My brother. He died in the last war. I stayed here to live a quiet life. Zero looked at the photo. Two humans smiling, laughing. Why did it feel so ... Real? She felt her chest tighten. She wasn't here to make connections. She was here to survive. To wait. But she couldn't stop looking at him. Something about Jace was pulling her. In not just his body, not just his strength, but something deeper. Like gravity. And for the first time in her life, Zero didn't want to go back to her people. Not yet. Zero had faced many enemies in her life, but this was different. She sat in a corner of the small cabin, watching the fire move. Flames danced quietly, and the human named Jace sat across from her, sipping tea like nothing was strange, like it was normal to have a silver-skinned alien in his home, but nothing was normal. Not her heart, not her thoughts, and definitely not the way she was feeling. She had been trained to control emotions. On her planet, love was seen as weakness. Touch was rare. Smiles were pointless. But here, in this quiet place on a dangerous planet, something inside her was changing. And it all started with him. Jace. Gently as his dog tried to sit on his lap and spill his tea. Zyra looked at his face, the lines near his eyes, the small scar on his cheek. His voice, deep but kind. She hated how her heart reacted. One part of her brain whispered, "Get out. You're a soldier. This is a mission." The other part whispered, "Stay. Just a little longer." Suddenly, Jace looked at her. "You okay?" Zariel blinked. "Yes, just ... Thinking about me?" She stayed silent. He smiled. "You don't talk much, do you?" "I'm not used to this kind of talking," she said. "Where I come from, people only speak when needed. That sounds lonely." Zyril paused. "It is," he nodded. "Well, you don't have to be lonely here." Those words hit her like a warm wave. She looked away. Later that night, when Jace went to sleep, Zyril walked outside. She sat on the grass under Earth's sky. She looked at the stars. Her stars. Her home. She didn't miss it. She missed nothing. Except answers. She opened her wrist device. The scan of Jace appeared again. Subject, human, male status, alive genetic shift, active unknown evolution detected. She frowned. Evolution? Why him? Then she checked her own vitals. Her body temperature had changed. Her heart rate was different. Emotional levels rising. She was becoming more human just by being near him. "No," she whispered. "This is dangerous." She stood to leave. She needed space. But as she turned, she bumped into him. Jace had come outside. He looked surprised but not afraid. "I thought you left," he said. "I tried." "And?" She hesitated. "I couldn't." Silence. Then he stepped closer. "You don't have to explain. I don't need to understand everything." Zyril looked up at him. He was too close, too human, and somehow not human at all. She whispered, "Something's wrong with me." Jace raised an eyebrow. "You saved my dog. You watched over me. You've been kind. I don't see anything wrong." "You don't understand," she said. "I'm not supposed to feel these things." He smiled, soft and slow. "Maybe feeling is exactly what you need." The moment hung between them. Stars above. Grass below. Two creatures from different worlds. Just strange. New feelings that neither of them could control. And somewhere deep in Zyril's system, an ancient alien program activated silently, scanning, recording, adapting. Something old was awakening inside her, or maybe inside both of them. Zyril couldn't sleep. The room was quiet, the fire low, the dog snoring softly in the corner. But her thoughts were loud, screaming inside her head. She sat near the window, staring at the human world outside. Trees stood like tall watchers. The stars above whispered reminders of who she was. She touched the small metal device. Hidden beneath her armor. It blinked. A red message appeared across her vision. Command code, EL-47. Target, human male mission status, incomplete, eliminate. And return. Her fingers tightened. Kill him. That was the order. No emotion. No questions. Just press the button, call her ship, and leave Earth. She turned and looked at Jace. He was asleep on the couch, his chest rising and falling gently. His arm rested over his eyes. He looked peaceful, human, real, not a threat. Not an enemy. He had cooked for her, laughed with her, sat next to her in silence, asking nothing in return. He had made her feel seen. And now, her people wanted her to erase him like he was nothing. Zyril stood up quietly. She walked outside, letting the cold air hit her face. She needed to think. She needed air. She needed anything but this weight inside her chest. The trees whispered with the wind. Somewhere far off, an owl called, but closer in her mind. A voice spoke. Not her own, her commander. A hologram appeared in front of her eyes, sharp, cold, emotionless. Zyril, you've been delayed too long. Why has the human not been terminated? She stood still. He's not a threat, she said quietly. Incorrect. All humans are unstable, dangerous. You are risking contamination. Zyril's heart pounded. He's not like the others. The commander's voice turned harder. You've grown weak. Emotions are clouding you. She looked down. Maybe, but maybe that's not weakness. Complete your mission, Zyril, or be marked as compromised. The signal cut. She was alone again, but the silence didn't bring peace. She walked back into the cabin. Jace was awake now, sitting up, rubbing his eyes. He looked at her and smiled. Couldn't sleep either? She stared at him. No, she said softly. He looked at her carefully. You okay? She wanted to lie, but she couldn't. I was given an order, she said. His smile faded. What kind of order? Zyril took a breath. To kill you. He didn't flinch. He just stared. And then he nodded slowly. Well, he said, thanks for telling me first. Her eyes burned. You're not afraid? He shook his head. No, not of you. Silence filled the room like thick smoke. She sat beside him. Their shoulders touched. He didn't move away. She whispered, I don't know what to do. He turned to her, voice calm. Then don't do anything yet. She laughed softly. That's not how my world works. Then maybe your world needs to change. They sat like that for a long time, quiet, still, together, and somewhere inside her, something cracked open. A space where duty didn't matter, only truth. She had come to Earth as a soldier, but now she didn't feel like one. She felt like a person, and that was the most dangerous thing of all. The sky was too quiet. Zyril stood in the field behind Jace's cabin, her eyes locked on the stars above. They didn't blink. They didn't warn. But she knew they were coming. She could feel it deep in her blood. A pressure in the air, too. Perfect to be natural. Behind her, Jace stepped outside, still barefoot, holding 2 mugs of coffee. You've been standing there a while, he said gently. She didn't take her eyes off the sky. You should go inside. He walked up beside her and handed her a mug. She didn't take it. They found me, she said. He didn't ask who they were. He didn't ask how. He just sipped his coffee. How long do we have? He asked. Zyril's voice was barely a whisper. Not long. Jace looked up, but saw only stars. To him, they looked beautiful. To her, they looked like weapons. I can run, he offered quietly. Disappear into the woods. Maybe they won't find me. Zyril shook her head. They will. They always do. The mug in his hand trembled slightly. Not from fear, but from something heavier. So this is it then, he said. I meet a girl from the stars, feed her, talk to her, and in the end, I die because of it. She turned to him. Her voice cracked for the first time. I didn't mean for this to happen. I know, he said. You just crashed into my life. He smiled, a tired, real smile. Then the wind changed. High above, something shimmered like a ripple across. The stars. Zirl dropped the mug. It's starting. From the sky, a silent wave of light burst open, revealing the sleek black curves of Skari hunter ships. No engines. No sound. Just speed and purpose. She stepped forward. Her armor lit up. Her eyes glowed with silver. For a moment, she didn't look like the woman he had shared tea with. She looked like a god of war. I won't let them hurt you, she said. You don't have to do this, Jace said. You could go. I'd understand. She turned to him. Her voice low and full of something he hadn't heard before. Fear. I'd rather die with you than live without meaning. The ground shook. They were close now. Zirl pressed her hand against the grass. A signal pulse raced underground. Traps she had built in secret, roots laced with alien code, began to wake. Jace looked at her in awe. Were you always planning for this? No, she said, but I knew peace wouldn't last. From the trees, beams of light shot down. 5 Skari warriors appeared, tall, sharp, emotionless. They saw her. Then they saw him. The lead soldier stepped forward, voice cold. Zirl, you have broken protocol. Step aside. The human dies. Zirl didn't move. Behind her, Jace reached for a metal rod leaning against the cabin wall. Don't, she whispered. They'll kill you before you take a step. I'm not just watching, he said. The lead soldier raised his weapon. Zirl moved. In one flash of light. She was no longer beside Jace. She was in front of him, blades drawn, catching the first energy blast with her shield. Then chaos. She moved like lightning, like music turned into motion. Blades met steel. Sparks lit the night. Jace watched, helpless and breathless, as she fought not like someone saving him, but like someone saving everything she had come to believe in. One soldier fell. Then another, but they kept coming. Jace ran forward, swinging the rod like a bat, catching one of the invaders in the back. The soldier fell, not from the hit, but from surprise. Zirl stared at him. You idiot. Figured I'd try something, he said. Panting, a beam hit Zyrl's shoulder. She cried out. Jace caught her as she stumbled. Another beam fired. He turned to shield her. Then the final blast stopped midair, frozen in. A pulse of blue. Silence. The last soldier's armor cracked, and he collapsed. Zyrl's hand was still raised, glowing. She fell to her knees. Jace held her, his arms around her body, heat rising off her like smoke. Don't you dare die, he whispered. She looked up at him, eyes flickering between human and alien. I'm not done yet, she breathed. Then the sky opened again. But this time, it wasn't more soldiers. It was a ship. Big, beautiful, royal, blue light spinning across its body. Zyrl's expression changed. That's not from my fleet, she said. Then who? Before she could answer, the ship spoke in a voice not human, not alien, but something older. Zirl, Jace, you are not alone. The light from the ship wasn't sharp like the others. It didn't blind or burn or threaten. It shimmered like moonlight on still water, calm and curious. Jace stood frozen, holding Zirl close as the glow wrapped around them, both like a soft wave. Zirl's breathing was uneven. Her shoulders smoked from the blast. Her eyes kept trying to stay open, but every second they closed a little more. Jace looked up at the sky, teeth clenched. If you're here to finish the job, he whispered, you're too late. The light pulsed once. Then again. Zirl stirred. No, it's not them, she said softly. This ship, I've only seen it once, a long time ago. During training. Jace helped her sit up. What is it? A Watcher-class vessel, she whispered. Older than our war. Older than Earth contact. No one knew who controlled them. Some said they were myth. And what do they want? Zirl looked up as the ship slowly descended, not with noise or force, but with silence. It didn't land. It hovered just above the treetops. "I think," she said slowly, "they want to talk." A shape formed in the light. Not a door, not a ramp, something else, not an opening without edges, like space folded inward. Zyril stood with effort, holding her side. "If I don't go, they'll leave." Jay stepped beside her. "You're hurt." She looked at him. So did the ship. And then, without words, the ship reached out. A beam of warm silver light touched Zyril's wound. In seconds, the bleeding stopped. The smoke faded. She took a breath. Jace blinked. "What just happened?" "They healed me," she said. "Or reset me. Like on Data, they don't want corrupted." Together, they stepped into the light. It didn't feel like walking into a ship. It felt like stepping into memory. One moment they were in the woods, and the next they were standing in an endless space made of stars. Not holograms. Not metal. Just stars. Floating. Breathing. Alive. A voice spoke, not in their ears, but inside their minds. "You have broken the pattern." Zyril stepped forward. "Who are you?" "We are what came before your empires. We watch, we remember, and we act when necessary." Jace looked around. "Why now?" "You are not the first to love across the boundary," the voice said. "But you are the first to trigger a shift." "A shift?" Zyril asked. The stars rippled. "His DNA change," she said. Slowly. "Because of me?" "No," the voice answered. "Because of each other. A human capable of empathy, strong enough to affect alien code. An alien willing to break centuries of programming. Together, you open something old." Zyril felt her breath catch. "What happens now?" "That depends," the voice said, "on what you do next." A new ripple passed through the stars. Jace stepped closer to her. "We didn't plan this," he said. "Change never asks permission," the voice replied. Suddenly, the stars shifted. They saw visions, flashes of the future. Earth in flames. Zyril's people hunting again. Other species watching from shadows. And one path, narrow and golden, where unity was possible, where war could stop. But it all depended on one truth. Love wasn't enough. Choice was. The light dimmed. The voice spoke one final time. "You may return. But from this moment forward, every choice you make changes more than just your lives. It changes history." Then everything vanished. They stood in the woods again. No ship above. No light. Only each other. Zyril turned to him. "They gave us a warning," she said, "but also a chance." Jace nodded slowly. "And now?" She reached for his hand. "We write the rest ourselves." Wind whispered through the trees like it knew something the world didn't. Zyril sat on the cabin steps, staring at the rising sun. Her fingers traced the edge of her wrist device, though it no longer blinked with orders. No new commands. Number. Contact from her people. Just silence. And choice. Behind her, Jace moved quietly, setting a cup of coffee beside her like he'd done every morning since they met. Except now, neither of them pretended this was just a quiet life in the woods. Too much had happened. Too much was waiting to happen. "They're watching us," Zyril said softly. Jace didn't ask who. He just sat beside her, both of them facing the golden light breaking through the trees. "I know." She looked down at the dirt under her boots. Earth, a planet she once saw as weak and wild. Now she wasn't sure if she had ever seen anything more alive. "I have to go," she said. Jace's face didn't change. "Not at first." Then he nodded. Slowly, "I figured." She turned to him. "Not because I want to, because if I don't, they'll come anyway. But this time, not 5 soldiers, they'll send a fleet. Not just for me, for the entire planet." Jace looked out toward the woods. "And if you go, I can stop it. But only if I go alone." He took a deep breath. "So that's the price?" "No," she whispered. "The price is leaving you." He didn't answer. Not right away. Instead, he pulled something from his pocket. A small silver pendant alien metal melted into the shape of a leaf. "You dropped this," he said. She took it, holding it like something too delicate for her hands. "I made it," he added. "Out of the wreckage of your ship." She stared at it. Her heart ached in ways no scanner could read. Then came the sound, not from above this time, but from within her device, a signal. Her people, last chance, return now, or Earth will burn. Stood. The pendant still in her hand. She looked at Jace. He stood too. And in that moment, nothing moved. Not the wind, not the world, only the space between them. "I don't know how long I'll be gone," she said. "I'll wait. I might not come back. I'll still wait." Her eyes burned, not with anger, with something older, softer. Leaned forward and pressed her forehead to his, just for a second. "I love you," she said. He closed his eyes. "I know." She stepped back. The signal flared. Light wrapped around her body, and in a heartbeat, she was gone. The cabin was quiet again, but the pendant glowed softly in Jace's hand. He smiled, not because it was over, but because he believed something bigger had just begun. Far above Earth, Zyril appeared in the command chamber of her people's flagship. They looked at her, in silence, but she didn't kneel. She didn't salute. She said one sentence, and it changed history. "If you touch that planet, you'll have to go through ME and something in the stars." Pause. For the first time, and maybe for good, the war didn't end that day, but peace had finally found its voice, and it was hers.